fantastic to see all of you here. It's always an extraordinary time of the year, the beginning of the Michaelmas term, the autumn time when new students arrive, and it's so energising for the college. The literal process of renewal, in which a whole pile of new people come in, replacing some people who've graduated, and of course we're very sorry to see go. But that process of having new students all the time is absolutely the heartblood of any academic institution. It's certainly the case at St John's. So I'm going to say a few words of welcome and give a little bit of practical information. My name's Richard Partington. I'm the college's senior tutor, and as senior tutor I'm responsible for the educational side of the college, the academic side of the college, and also welfare. And I have with me my dear colleague Silvana Tomaselli, who's the postgraduate tutor. Silvana, do you want to say a few words?
Yes, well, I'm standing in for Dr. Nichols, who's on leave this year. I am interested in representing the interest of the postgraduate body as a whole in college, but also at the university level, and to make sure that we don't just provide the facilities, the entertainment, the social setting that other colleges do, but actually set a model for other colleges to follow. And we're very lucky because in many ways we do that. We are much more inclusive than many colleges, and I hope, as I am also the senior treasurer for the Associated Societies, that you will join the many societies, and indeed start societies should you find that there are societies that should flourish here. One of the newer additions is the beekeeping society, so there's an entire range of society, cubing societies, all kinds of wonderful things to do. And if you have any problems of a pastoral kind, then you should go to your tutor. And it's very, very important that you have a good relation with your tutor, that he or she at least knows who you are. It needn't be in person if you can't make it, if you're in lab and so on, but do make contact. And then, of course, should you have a problem which cannot be handled at the level of an individual tutor, then I will do my best to look after your interests and solve the problem. But whatever problem, we will tackle it and solve it. So welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Silvana. So I really want to say, I mean, it's a kind of formal welcome right now, but you're about to enter what we're really confident will be a hugely rewarding and we hope memorable period in your life. And huge congratulations on having joined a college that is really successful and happy. I mean, St John's is an extraordinary place full of friends, and you absolutely deserve to be here, every single one of you, but you're also lucky to be here, as we all are. And as I said already, it's great to have you. Now, Cambridge is a complex university. If you were beginning again designing a university, you certainly wouldn't design it this way. But over the course of 800 years, all sorts of little routes have been followed by organic development, and so it's complex. Navigating it isn't always easy, but we will help in any way that we can here in the college, as Silvana has said. And much of the focus of your lives as postgraduate students is going to be in the faculty or department, the group, in any case. And the orientation here in the college, consequently, is primarily about helping you find your feet socially. So there are some compulsory sessions, particularly around dimensions of behaviour, and we'd really appreciate it if you would make sure you join all of those, but make sure you've got plenty of time to orientate yourselves in the city, as well as in the department, the faculty, and the college. Make space for yourselves at a very busy time. Now, there's some key people in the college. Silvana has already introduced herself. I've introduced myself. Your tutor is the person directly responsible for your personal welfare. And they'll also keep an eye on your academic progress. So that's the person in college who keeps an eye on what's happening to you in the wider university. And you should talk to your tutor in the first instance about any personal welfare or financial issues with which you need help. So, as Silvana said, get to know your tutor. And the tutors have regular tutorial times when they are available to see you in person. But you can email them at any time. There are some key offices in the college which may be helpful to you, especially Student Services, which is on the ground floor of F Staircase in Chapel Court. And I'm going to send on to all of you, or have sent on to all of you, this presentation with the live links, so you've got this information going forward. And you should talk to Student Services. Audrey and her team are really excellent. If you want any general information, or if you need to know anything about kind of practicalities of life, or welfare, or financial support, it's a good place to go in the first instance just to find out things. There are a team of academic administrators who support the tutors, and they will be in touch with you at various points. They work on a subject-by-subject basis. The graduate office is an excellent means of contacting Silvana. And if you really need to speak to me about something very serious, then you can, of course, get in touch anytime through my office, through the Senior Tutors Office. And I'm happy to see any students if you think it would be helpful for me to see you. Now, the main messages here this morning are really about social life and welfare. And we really want you to be part of the community here. You'll make friends, you'll look after one another. You may not make friends straight away, and of course you may make your main friendship group in your faculty or department. Whichever, you will make friends in time. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, sometimes even a few months, but you will make good friends here in Cambridge. It can also be a good idea to challenge yourself by making friends with people who come from backgrounds that are unfamiliar to you. We're all subject to biases. It's a natural part of brain function. And it's good to be self-critical and open yourselves up to new experiences. That's good for everyone. So lots of people in St John's get involved in the community through co-curriculars, sport, music and the like, but of course you absolutely don't have to do that if you don't want to. We always say to students that it's good to have a balanced life, work and rest and play, and there's plenty of time to do that in a 24-hour day. So do make sure that there is space for yourselves as well as for your work. Remember that although there is a heavy emphasis in Cambridge on co-curriculars, you can very profitably spend your time in a much more casual and relaxed way with friends doing your own thing. But make sure you space your time out. There's very good support at St John's if you run into difficulties. Most students don't, but looking at the totality of the university, around 13% of students run into difficulties that go beyond the usual problems of assimilation into a new institution, of transition to a new institution. Life is not a smooth process, but you're mature people. You've experienced plenty of bumps so far, and you know the difference between that and more serious problems with which we can help. We've got Ruth and Karen here, who are our nurses from our fantastic health centre, and we've also got a very good new internal counsellor called Hastings. And we can put you in touch through other professional support, the University Counselling Service, and the local doctor, physician services, the GP services, and the health centre can help you navigate that. If you have a disability, there is excellent specialist support through the Disability Resource Centre. Again, we can guide you there if you need help with that. Your tutor is often the best person to triage more complex problems, though if your problem is health related, of course, you can go straight to the health centre. And if you suddenly find yourself in an emergency at night, the porters are an excellent place to go for reassuring words and support and advice. All of the porters are appropriately trained. They're really nice people. So just let me remind you of that right now. We want you all to be a good citizen, and forgive me if some of this is a little bit didactic, but it's always worth stressing that the college is an open, diverse community. We expect everybody to be treated with respect, and that should be your expectation of how you should be treated as well. Everyone in this community and everyone outside the community, we expect to be treated by us, by our community, with kindness and consideration. Of course, we prohibit all forms of bullying and harassment, including inappropriate and abusive language. And these activities are matters in which the college is interested, and if we have to investigate and take disciplinary action, we will. And what that means for you is that if you are subject to bullying or harassment, including abusive language, you let us know. And we will do our best, depending on the seriousness of the offence and the circumstances, either to investigate ourselves or to enlist university specialist investigators. But these are things that we will deal with. So no one should experience this. If you do experience it, please come to us, to me, to your tutor, or to the SBR welfare officers for advice and support. Likewise, if you witness this happening to somebody else, sometimes it's difficult to have the confidence to step in directly, though you should do that if you feel confident enough to do so, to say, that's not right, that's not cool, this is not the way to be behaving or treating somebody. But if you feel you can't do that, again, talk to us, let us know. And if you're worried about an individual's behaviour, that's again something that you can let us know about confidentially. And a very simple thing, which is to leave everywhere you live clean and tidy. The usual thing people say at this point is you should leave things the way you would expect to find them. But some people have extremely low expectations. So I would say, please just leave them really clean and tidy in consideration of all of your fellow residents. Keeping safe, of course, don't feel under pressure to do things that you don't want to do. And don't put others under pressure to do things that they don't want to do. That could be, it could be drinking games, it could be something to do with sexual or romantic relationships. You should give people space, and you should not push them, and you should not allow yourself to be pushed. You should also recognise, and this reflects a number of incidents in the university in the last year or two, that if people are drunk, they are not in a position to consent within the context of relationships. And there have been people who have said, well, the person who's complained about my behaviour did consent, and the judgment that's been made in the university is that the person was too drunk to be able to consent, even if they were physically capable of saying the word yes. So these are dangerous waters, and you must be very careful. Again, if you're concerned about somebody's vulnerability, if you feel that they are emotionally vulnerable, or if they're drunk, and if you feel that they could be in an unsafe situation, please intervene. Ask them if they're okay. Make sure that they get home safely if you're in a situation to do so. Don't leave somebody unsafe. Don't be a bystander. And again, if you're troubled by situations that you've seen, talk to us. Do not allow things to fester. Finally, a few words on the dreaded COVID-19. Our objectives in the college are to enable normal life to take place, but also to prevent too many people having to self-isolate and to keep everyone safe. So we're asking everybody to ensure that they are fully vaccinated, and our expectation in the college is that well over 90% of students are already fully vaccinated, and we expect that number to be very close to 100% within the next handful of weeks. So that's great. That's the first great plank we have against disruption and infection that causes disruption. The second plank is the university's fantastic asymptomatic testing programme. I know that the SBR officers have been talking to you about that. It worked really well last year. It's fantastic that we've got this in the university, and it enabled us to keep everyone safe even when we didn't have vaccination. So I really implore you to participate extensively in that testing programme, which is very easy to participate in via your household groups, and you've had some information about that already. So far as the position in the UK is concerned on social distancing and the like, the government says that we should allow people to maintain a degree of social distance. I know that as a clear instruction, that is about as useful as a chocolate teapot, but we can interpret it intelligently, give people space, and respect their choice to want space and to want to wear a mask. And we're saying to everyone, please wear masks in public spaces in the college when you are circulating. Once you sat down and you're doing something, especially eating or drinking, that's different, of course. But in our big public spaces, indoors, we'd like you to wear a mask. Outdoors, it's fine, of course, not to, because there's very little risk there. But indoors, we'd really appreciate it if you would. It's not a requirement, but we'd really like you to do so. In practical terms, when you're mingling with your fellow students, with your friends, keep your rooms really, really well ventilated. It's the single most important thing that you can do. Have the windows wide open if you've got people in. That will help keep people safe. And of course, maintain some social distance. And if there's a big crowd, mask up. Wash and sanitize your hands carefully and regularly. That makes a difference too. It's not quite as important as ventilation, but it's still very important. If you exhibit symptoms of COVID-19, for a double vaccinated person, that's essentially sneezing, tiredness, and the symptoms of a cold being blocked up. Please get yourself tested through the university, have a PCR test. And if you do test positive, you must report via the links that we're going to send on to you in due course. If one of your household members tests positive, if you're double vaccinated in the UK, you are not legally required to self-isolate. If you're from outside the UK, you are legally required to self-isolate. But we're saying to everyone, please stay at home, try and reduce how much you're mingling with other people until you've taken a test and have tested negative. So it's really just about preventing. There will be a spike. It's inevitable that there will be a spike in infections in the first few weeks, but we can keep that spike low and minimise disruption if we follow these basic rules. And everyone in Cambridge is following the same scheme. It's essentially the scheme that we all followed last year, and it kept us all really safe. So it works. You know, we got through the year last year in good shape, and we will do so again. So that concludes what I've got to say, but just to say again, huge welcome. Really pleased to see you all. And I'm not sure who's speaking next, but I'm going to hand over to them and remove my presentation. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing you at lunch in about an hour's time.
Yes, it should be. Where is the USB? Here it is.
Didn't safely check.
There you go. Okay. Oop, no, I don't want to sign in. Where is it? Cool. Yeah. Can you guys come forward? Thank you. Okay. Yep. Alrighty, well, hello everybody. First and foremost, I just wanted to welcome you all to our community. I know COVID has been, I think, difficult for many of us, whether you are starting now or if you've deferred because of COVID. It inevitably is still a problem that we face. But that is not the tone that I think the committee wants to set for the year. We want it to feel as normal and welcoming as possible for you all. With that, though, comes still some regulations and restrictions that we have to do to make sure that we can ensure your safety and that we can socialize safely. But we hope that we can make your time here as welcoming and enjoyable as possible. So with that said, my name is Dylan. I am the SBR president this year. I'm a third-year PhD student studying chemistry, and my job really is just to make sure that you all are able to have fun, but also to make sure that you don't experience any forms of discrimination, to look out for your welfare, and to listen to anything that you might have to offer or to suggest to make your experience or somebody else's experience here better. But yes, so with that said, the rest of the committee is here. So our vice president is Yasha.
Hi, that's me. Yeah, I'm Yasha. I'm a third-year PhD student. I'm Dylan's counterpart. I'm the SBR vice president, so it's vaguely defined as anything that Dylan doesn't really want to do, I'll do. And yeah, so...
Okay, cool. Sorry for the live stream, I guess they didn't hear me now. But yeah, my name is Yasha, I'll just repeat that. I don't repeat the joke, I think that wouldn't have the same effect again. Yeah, and like outside my studies, I do rope for college and I work on like a neurotech startup, well that's kind of fresh now. And I do play the guitar and the trumpet though, well with SBR and stuff all going on, it is quite busy. So unfortunately I don't have that much time, and we had the idea that we'd all give you like our top tip for what to do in your first year in Cambridge, or well, your first few months in Cambridge. So my tip for you is that lots of college, like first of all, you should sign up to all our events, all the events that the SBR put up for you, especially during October. But lots of other colleges also run great events, ends and bobs, and usually people can bring a friend or two. So it's a great way of experiencing other colleges and seeing what the kind of community like is there. And while John's is by far the best college, I think it's a great, great activity to also visit other colleges.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a fifth year medic, so I've been around college a while. I'm the secretary on the SBR committee, so I do a lot of the admin and work behind the scenes to make sure that things go smoothly. When I'm not doing admin, I also play ice hockey and I love to bake and cook. And my top tips for you would be A, to get your bedder on your side. Please keep your communal spaces tidy. They can make your life not as great if they're not on your side. And then also check out all the food offerings down Mill Road. It's not in the centre, but they have some of the best food.
Hey guys, I'm Zala. I'm a second year PhD student doing biological science. And I'm academic officer in the SBR committee. So together with Anna and Tim, we are organizing like graduate research talks, symposium, and quizzes throughout the year. And in the free time, I'm also a graduate career officer at the Graduate Student Association at LMB. So if anyone's from the LMB, please join those events as well. And I also like playing tennis and volleyball. And currently, we're also establishing Slovene Society at Cambridge. So if anyone's from Slovenia, also give me a shout. And my tip would be, in the first couple of months, find a spot in Cambridge, somewhere when you can go to think, to read, just to have a time for yourself, because like to refresh your mind. I think that's very important. Okay, thanks.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm another SBR academic officer. I'm a third year, starting fourth year PhD in zoology. I do genetics of butterflies. And aside from my PhD, I play football for the uni seconds. And I'm hoping to get continue with the women's football team. So if anyone's keen to join, please talk to me. And my top tip would be to go punting. If you can go punting to Grantchester and have a picnic. I don't know if the weather allows, who knows. But that's very nice. If it's just punting through the bags, that's really nice. So you should do it.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm a first-year PhD student in computer science. I'm continuing work from my MPhil on the explainability of neural networks. I'm the communications officer and webmaster, so I put together the weekly email you'll be getting, as well as promotional material, and I'm updating the website. And I'm also part of the Women at the Computer Laboratory community. And my top tip is try Jack's Gelato. I know it's cold, but they also have hot chocolate.
Marg.
Hi, I'm Margarita. I'm also an evolutionary biologist like Anna. And I'm starting my third year of PhD now. And I'm the environmental officer. So that means that I put together a lot of communication on behalf of the college, because the college is doing some great things to solve some environmental issues. So I'm going to send a grid guide next week. Please read it and be proud of what Johns is doing. And also it will help you, it will empower you to know what actually the real issues are and what you can do to fight climate change. And yeah, if you like movies, I really highly recommend the student subscription to the Picture House because they give free movies once in a while and it's very convenient. Yeah.
Sophia couldn't make it, but she's our other environmental officer who works alongside Marg. She's kind of been working on the gardening project that we've developed. But she sends her apologies and hopes to see you all soon.
Oh, and another thing, if you're interested in gardening, sorry, I forgot, it's October, so there's not much to do now, but there are still some spots in the communal garden, so if you're interested, just drop me an email.
Sasha.
Oh, yeah. Hey guys, I'm Sasha. I'm a third year physics PhD student. I'm studying to make solar cells, just starting my fourth year. I'm the SBR sports officer, which doesn't really mean much, but if you have any questions about the gym or anything about that, I'm always happy to answer them. My main purpose here today is to recruit people for the SBR football team, which is the best team in Cambridge by far. We're actually versing the undergrad team later today, so if you're really bored, you can come watch if you want. I think my top tip would be to get a really good bike lock. I've had 3 bikes stolen so far, so honestly, really invest with that, honestly. And then last sort of thing, so there's the university's sports fair tomorrow. So if any of you guys are interested in playing sport for the university or just having fun even, it's tomorrow, the 4th of October, 1 to 5 p.m. at the University Sports Centre. You can sort of Google University Sports Day or whatever. So that's just another thing you might want to check out as well. But yeah, cheers.
Christina.
Hey everyone, my name's Christina and I'm one of the social and dining officers. There are 5 of us because the social scene at Johns is so large that we need 5 people to organise. And I'm a 5th year medical student. And so what I do, or we do as social and dining officers, we plan and run different events throughout the year. Some examples of these are swaps where you go to formals at different colleges, punting trips, wine and cheese nights. So there's a whole host of different events, so you'll get to try those out throughout the year. And so aside from studying and working for the SBR, what I like to do, I do hurdling. So I'm part of the uni athletics team, and I also play netball for the college. So if anyone's interested in doing athletics, netball, any sort of sport, just let me know. And my top tip is firstly, get a bike, but also get a good lock. And also don't leave your bike outside at night, especially like around the station area or anywhere. It's like just unnecessary stress. And also don't be afraid to use the bus. I discovered it maybe last year or like the year before, and it's only like £1 to use, and it's really good, and you get to travel quite far with it. So those are my tips.
Hello, I'm Lucy. I'm one of the other social and dining officers, and I'm also a 5th year medic. Outside of the SBR, I've dabbled in a few college and uni sports, but at the moment I'm mostly doing cross-country running. So hopefully see a few of you on the running groups, which I sent an email about. My top tips for Cambridge is to get out into the countryside around Cambridge. I only really discovered this when I started running. But we're really lucky to live in a city where you can get out into the surroundings so easily. And when it gets to summer, take a dip in the Cam, but in Grantchester, not out here. It's a bit grim out here.
Hi, I'm Alva. I'm another one of your social and dining officers. I'm from Dublin. I'm a 2nd year PhD student studying mitochondrial biology. And when I'm not in the lab, I play traditional Irish music on the harp. So if you're interested in Céilís or Céilí dancing, let me know. And my top tip, again, reinforces what Lucy said. If you're getting sick of the city centre, get out into the countryside. There's lots of fresh air, and you can see the famous Cambridge cows as well, by Grantchester or Midsummer Common. And you can even punt to Grantchester if you're feeling brave enough for that as well.
I don't know where Matt Ashman is. He's not here either, but okay. He's another social and dining officer. Really great chat. Definitely say hi to him. He's very friendly, very social and outgoing. So if you haven't met him already, I'm sure you will. Greg.
Hi, everyone. I don't even know if it's on. Oh, yeah, it is on. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg. I'm going to be a 3rd year PhD student in computational psychology. I look at internet big data and stuff like that. And I'm the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Officer, also known as EDI. So I advocate for anyone in our community who feels underrepresented, especially students of color or those in the LGBT plus community. Aside from like studies, I'm in and out of the college's beekeeping society, which is really, really cool. I think they just had like a big honey harvest. And my top tips, you definitely have to check out street food in the market square. It's like actually like such a great lunch option and like lots of variety. And a really easy day trip that is actually like quite worth it for like the sites is going to Ely. If you just take the train, it's like 1 stop over if it's direct, or Cambridge North and then over. The stained glass is amazing. It's definitely worth it.
Hi, I'm Elwyn. I'm a 5th year medical student, and I am one of the welfare officers. Rita, the other welfare officer, couldn't be here today, but you'll see her picture on the next slide. Richard mentioned a lot of the welfare things that can be done in college, but if you are unsure of where to go to, either ask your tutor, come ask me, you can ask any of the committee as well. We're all very happy to help with welfare things. Certain things we do, we run like sexual health supply drops. These are like anonymous. The only people that would know that you've requested them are myself and Rita. You get them anonymously. There's a form that we'll send out via an email. Other things, we run welfare events. We support students. If you're not sure where to go, we can't really deal with serious things, but if you let us know that something is going on, we're more than happy to point you in the right direction, be it to your tutor, to a GP, to the health centre, where we have loads of amazing nurses and counsellors too that can help out with anything. At night time, just to reiterate what Richard said, if you have a problem or someone you know has a problem, be it mental health related, be it security related, please call the porters, go see the porters, find them. They're there to help you, so make use of them if you need them. Don't go on struggling alone overnight. Additional resources, there's Cambridge Nightline, which is a free place you can call, willing to help any student. There are also other charities, student-based charities, and other bigger organisations to help students throughout Cambridge. So if you're unsure of what to do, give a Google, and you can find lots of resources available to people. Aside from that, I'm part of the Neurosurgery Society. I play football for John's, not the SBR team because they're too good for me. I like going climbing, and I play seal pans with the uni band. If anyone plays seal pans or is interested in or doesn't know what it is, come see me afterwards. We'll get you involved. It's a lot of fun. Top tips, try a new sport. Like if there's not a sports society at John's, for a sport you do, make one. If there's not a society for something you're interested in, make one. Do what you want. It's your time here. Use it however you like. Grantchester's been mentioned loads of times. Have a picnic at Grantchester. There are walks that the SBR are running to Grantchester. Sign up for them if you haven't already, because it's a beautiful place and it'll be a great chat.
Rita couldn't be here, but as a former welfare officer, I think there's a couple of things she'd probably want me to mention as well. So she's been working on getting feminine hygiene products distributed throughout college. So that's a work initiative we've partnered with the JCR on. And I think to echo what Elwyn has said and what Richard has said, is if you ever find that there's an issue that you would like to report, but you don't even feel comfortable speaking with your tutor or with the welfare officers, we do have an anonymous form as well, in which you can leave all of your information off, and we can use that information to make college a better place. But that's about it.
Rita's top tip, go karaoke. There's a karaoke event that Matt Ashman would like me to plug. Karaoke event on Sunday the 17th. Go, there'll be free drinks, just be a great time. Get singing.
Sally.
Hi everyone, I'm Sally. I'm a kind of floating resource for Dylan, and over the past year I've been involved in issues of sustainability with college and the redevelopment of the community hub, which is the dining and buttery and so on. I'm a fourth year PhD student. I've also been involved in issues of PhD welfare during COVID and discipline issues. And my top tip, that stands, but if you're not from this climate, it's going to get cold. And it's going to get really cold in about a month. So make sure that you get a really heavy coat and mittens and a hat, and also think about a sad lamp. I was quite kind of sniffy about that, but it seemed to help.
Okay, that is all of the committee. Oh yeah. So there were, I guess, there's a quick announcement from Charlotte. There seemed to be a lot of interest in Pat Boyd's historic walks. So we have increased capacity for those because we do think that they're a really fun event, and they're outdoors, so it's pretty low risk. And Pat Boyd is a lovely fellow within college. So that is it from the committee side. Again, should you have any questions about any issue in particular, there is somebody here probably that can help you with that. And that's about it. We also have somebody here from the student union who wanted to speak on some of the initiatives that they're working on for postgrads.
And I'm just going to say one thing. I sent you all, or Angela should have sent you all out a buddy pairing for all you new students, so someone in college that you can contact and go to the buddy formal with. If you haven't received a buddy, please email me. My email's on the website, and I will find you someone to pair up with. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Amelia and I am the Student Union Postgraduate Access Education and Participation Officer. So I'm just going to speak very, very quickly about this to talk about the Cambridge SU, who we are, why you should care, and what we can do for you. So we are a body representing all of the students at university, so not just your college but university-wide. And just as a quick note, we are not the Cambridge Union Debating Society, that's something completely different. But there's been some confusion. So we are headed by 8 sabbatical officers, including myself. So it's a Postgraduate Access Education Participation Officer, Undergraduate Access Education Participation Officer, Postgrad Pres, Undergrad Pres, Disabled Student Officer, BME Officer, Women's Officer, Welfare and Communities Officer too. That's a lot of names and I don't expect you to remember them, but basically, we are sabbatical officers here to represent you as a student body. Your college is amazing and will be generally your first port of call for anything social, anything welfare related to make friends, and generally as your source of support and societies. However, the student union is also here for you on behalf of any wider kind of issues, comments, and things you may have. So we work with current students, academic reps, work with MCRs, like your wonderful SPR, and JCRs. And on top of this, we have 7 permanent campaigns on behalf of students that we run. So you can get involved with, or you can approach this campaign if you're interested. So these are the BME campaign, the Class Act campaign, Disabled Students campaign, LGBTQ campaign, International Students campaign, Women's campaign, and Ethical Affairs. That's a lot of names to remember, but you can always look this up on our website, cambridgesu.co.uk. And on top of this, we help run the university-wide societies. So you just heard a lot about your college societies, and they're great. Please get involved. But if there's something that you're interested in that may not be in your college, you can either start it, as they said, or there will be a university-wide society. So these are, you can find those all on our website and the societies directory. And also there is a Freshers Fair, which is next, this Tuesday and this Wednesday. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Parker's Peace, which is like the big green space, I guess near Downing College. I'm sure if you have a map of Cambridge, it's about 5-10 minute walk from here. And basically you go on our website, get your free ticket, and you can meet the SU. You can meet all the other societies around Cambridge, which range from kind of more businessy ones, such as consulting, finance, if you're interested in that, to theatre, to cooking ones, to some quirky ones, like the ones I always like to mention, like Assassin's Guild and LARPing Society. So that's what kind of you can be involved with. And there's also the Sports Fair on Monday, as mentioned. The SU also works with academic reps. So these, in about a month's time, there'll be an election for academic reps for your course or faculty. And these people are representing your cohort, so any kind of academic issues you may have, the academics reps will work with you and work with the SU. So anything such as classes going ahead or sort of comments about teaching, academic reps will be there to help you, but you can also, if you're very keen and involved with it, you can get involved and nominate yourself to be an academic rep. I was one last year. It's a great experience. Definitely get involved. And also, on the subject of advice, the Students' Union offer what we call the Student Advice Service, which is a free, confidential, independent support. And it's separate from your college, it's separate from your faculty, because your college is amazing and it will generally give you the best support you need, and so will your faculties. But sometimes there's an issue that you cannot bring to your college, that you cannot bring to your faculty. And in this case, the SU have that student advice service. You can book your one-to-one session. It's free, it's anonymous, and we have trained advisors who will help you. And just before I finish, I'll run you through a few projects, specifically postgrad, that the SU are doing this year. So we are looking at, the main ones for postgrads are looking at the student and supervisor relationships within the university. So a lot of you will be doing a PhDs and masters, you will have a supervisor. We're looking to improve those relationships, and we just had a big report come out and had a lot of recommendations from that of how we can actually improve your time studying here at Cambridge. We're also campaigning to guarantee funding for every PhD place that's offered. There's currently funding isn't attached to all PhD places, and that can really prohibit someone from taking up their PhD place. We also have the postgraduate funding portal, which is now live, which has most of the postgraduate funds available in Cambridge. So this is if you're going on to a PhD, or there's even some funds you can have during your time in your postgraduate. So just look at Cambridge Postgraduate Funding Portal, and a lot of the funds will be there. We're still working on getting it fully completed. And just a personal campaign that some of the SABs are running this year is looking to get rid of the postgraduate application fee, which currently is £75 and increases by £5 every year, and is a barrier to access and education in general. If you're interested in any of these things that I've just listed, come find me after, or you can follow us on social media. We have a Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and you can find us just at our website, cambridgesu.co.uk. Get involved, or just send us your comments, complaints, concerns as well. Reminder about Freshers' Fair, that's Tuesday and Wednesday. And also there is, we're running a little prize, which is we'll give a £15 voucher for any local business. So if you follow us on social media, you may be within a chance of winning that prize. It's like Jack Gelato has mentioned, Heifers, which is a great book and board game place. And otherwise, have a great time at Cambridge, and looking forward to speaking with more of you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. You know me, a bit blue.
Okay.
Good.
There we go. Good. And then this one right here.
Yeah.
There you go. You can just press the space bar.
Space bar. Okay. So hi guys. I'm Ruth, one of the nurses, and this is Karen, the other nurse, and I'm just going to do a brief introduction to what we do at the Health and Wellbeing Centre. So just a few information there. We've also got Hastings on there, and we also work closely with Andrew. But I was thinking when I came in that not just with the nurses, but the biggest part of the Health and Wellbeing Centre are you guys. You guys are here to let us know if you're unwell. You're here to look after each other as well. So please do look after your neighbours. If you're worried about anybody, bring your concerns if you can to them, to us. You're all part of the wellbeing team. Okay, shall I take my mask off? Is that better, guys?
No, it doesn't look good. Never mind.
Okay, is that any better? Yes, it is. Hear my northern accent now. Okay, so what can you talk to the nurses about? It's basically anything, okay? Anything that's making you or any of your friends unhappy, do come and see us. COVID information, Richard's gone through quite a bit of it. Everything is on the website. It's going to get a bit confusing, guys, because there's also something called Freshers' Flu. So bear with us if we're asking you to get PCR checks, just because the symptoms of fresh as flu and COVID are basically the same. So please do just bear with us and get tested or whatever we advise you. Also, please make sure you've got some decent stocks of paracetamol, ibuprofen, flu remedies, lots of fluids, favourite squashes to make into hot drinks. And any questions you have, then please get in touch with us. And as you can see, there's all sorts of other things on there that we deal with. Insomnia, big thing. If you're not sleeping, let us know. The sooner the better. They don't use sleep deprivation as a torture implement for no reason. It can affect you really, really badly, so please come and see us. Oh, just one thing on there before I just saw allergies. If anybody has any allergies that you haven't declared to us, you carry EpiPens, please can you make sure that you do make contact with us? It's very important that we know. We have I won't say, well, quite a rogues gallery, but we do like everybody in the college to know who carries an EpiPen. So the porters, the buttery, housekeeping, we do inform them if people carry EpiPens, just for your safety. Where am I at now? Someone to listen. So, should you be struggling in any way, shape or form, or you know of anybody who's struggling, do come and talk to us. We have more time than your GP to get to know you, so do come and talk to us. It is a confidential service, just like your GP is, so we keep your records safely and securely, so please don't feel that you will be in any way, shape or form confidentiality broken. Most of our clinics now are being triaged and either Moodle or telephone consultations, just like the GPs. So please find your way around the Moodle system. It is a bit glitchy. Just keep hitting that blue button and you will have made your appointment. So again, another bits and bobs on there about who also is included in the health and wellbeing services. One important one to draw your attention to is NHS 111 option 2. If you are struggling and you don't want to approach the porters or anybody else at night, if you ring that number, it is a bit of a palaver to get through the preamble, but once you are through that, you will be put through to a qualified mental health person. So there are other options as well as the ones that Dylan mentioned about telephone calls to get through for help. One of the important things you need to do is register with the doctor as soon as possible, so I hope most people are already on that. If you don't know how to find it, there is a page on the university website about all the links of all the GPs. So if you are struggling, do get in touch with Karen and myself, and I believe student services need to know as soon as you are registered where you are registered with, so please make sure you inform them. Vaccinations, not only do we want you to be vaccinated against COVID, one of the other main things to be vaccinated against is meningitis. So if you haven't had meningitis vaccine containing the W strain, please make contact with us and we'll guide you to where you can get that. That's usually via the GP services. Please also be aware of meningitis symptoms. Very shortly we will be sticking cards into all your pigeonholes with all the signs and symptoms so you are aware of what they are. Regarding the COVID-19 vaccine, there are several walk-in centres. There's one today up until 6 o'clock tonight. So if you don't fancy doing the football or anything else or watching the football, then you can take yourself off to the Guildhall and get yourself a COVID vaccine or see about getting one if you need them. But there is also more information on the Cambridge University website. We've touched on the COVID-19 household testing, which is a government requirement for all students in universities. I have brought some props just in case you haven't seen any. So this is a kit that you'll collect, your nominated person will collect on a Monday if you live in a household of more than one. And this is a kit for an individual to pick up from the porters' lodges. And they're all every single porters' lodge has got access to these kits. So pick them up on a Monday. Do the test Tuesday morning and get it back to the porter's lodge by 12 for the courier to pick up. It's very important to be there by 12, otherwise it will not get collected. The other thing to remember is you must scan the QR code, otherwise you won't get your results. Also, there's a website underneath if you want to do it that way to log in and notify your testing. So not only are you going to keep Cambridge and the college safe, there's another very important reason for everybody to do it. The university has a league table. We need to be higher than Trinity, guys, okay? Higher than Trinity. So beware. Other options, they're all the sorts of the different choose well options. I won't bore you with those because there's far too many. I'm sure everybody, if you're worried about where to go, I can get this accessed and sent out as an email. As Richard said, Cambridge can be an intense, vibrant, stimulating environment. It can be daunting. Do get to grips with where you are. You all deserve to be here. You've all made it. In fact, you're sort of postgrads, you've got through your first degree, so you certainly know your way around studying. But if you are struggling, do come and talk to us. And welcome to Cambridge.
There you go.
I'll put the lid down so I can leave my book on it. You'll probably think, oh my God, they've saved the vicar for last. But I'm Andrew, the chaplain, Andrew Hammond. I guess I'm a historical anomaly attempting to be relevant now. So you can make up your own minds. But I just want to give just a few minutes intro to what I can do, I hope, to be of help to you. So somebody said to me at my party the other night, what is it you actually do? So let's see what I actually do. So obviously, because I'm a chaplain and a priest, I have a life in the chapel. There's a great deal that happens there. I'm not talking about that now because this is about welfare, although it's very important that they're connected. They're not kind of divergent parts of my life. So I'm part of the whole welfare offer here in college and stay in very close contact with everybody else who is involved in welfare. We are effectively a team with the nurses and the tutors and the counsellor and the welfare officers of both student unions. But I am just a little bit different from all of them. I was talking to a student yesterday and we came up with this phrase, like I'm like an in-between person. I'm just in between everybody else because it's very important that you know that I'm not a mental health professional. But I would dare to say that I have an expertise which is on the inner life of being a person, which is actually more than just mental health, although the whole question and landscape of mental health is enormous. But think of me as an inner life specialist. And you see me wearing this thing, that's how you know what I am as well as who I am. You don't come and see me because you're Christian, otherwise I'd be really making a great deal of coffee for myself and reading books. You come to me because I am, and a particular kind, I hope, which is completely non-judgmental. Obviously that's associated with quite a lot of people of faith, that they are judgmental. I am not judgmental. I'm not shocked easily. I'm shocked when I hear about bad things which happen to people, but I'm not shocked if you tell me about anything in your life, however deep and painful it is. You can't shock me. I'm not a prude. So you can tell me things you couldn't tell your mother. And I'm actually really, really available. You must think of me as very, very available. I live on site. I'll tell you later where my office is and my house and so on. So I thought it'd be good to give some concrete examples of what people actually do come and talk to me about. And know that I've been here since January of last year, but before that I was chaplain of King's. So I've come to where the better choir is. I've worked with students for a fair few years. And these are the sort of things that will come up. So people will come to me actually who have a kind of what you might call a non-specific or general stress or discomfort or anxiety. Or there might be something much more specific, a distress or an issue or a worry. And this can be about relationships. I learnt quite early on at King's what friends with benefits means. We had a much more robust way of describing that when I was a student. But so you can talk to me about relationships, bereavement. Very often a student will lose somebody for the first time, and it's very, very hard to deal with. Loneliness, academic worries. I'll say a bit more about that in a moment, but you can be worried in a very particular way about how you're doing academically that you don't feel able to share straight away with academic staff. Sexuality, gender identity, and indeed matters of personal identity generally. Harassment and bullying hasn't happened so much here in terms of my own experience, but at King's I did sit with too many, because it was more than none, women who had experienced different levels of harassment and assault, one case very seriously. So you can come to me about that. There are so many different areas of where bullying and harassment can happen. Now, sometimes you'll come to see me because you just want somebody to listen to you and in a safe space. Sometimes you may actually want some advice or to share ideas, just to compare some ideas, and I can offer advice. Sometimes you might need somebody to advocate for you. In this respect, I'm a bit like a padre in the military. I was one once. Where you're not quite the rank of anybody else. So you can go to anybody in the institution and represent somebody else's interests and concerns. So I can do that. It might be that you become worried about a supervisor and you need somebody just to try and make the connection and ease that situation, or indeed accompany you in an actual complaints procedure, which I've done recently here. You may just need some moral support in that and encouragement. So I can listen, I can advise, I can advocate, and then I have to be very, very keen in my listening all the time, so I know when to refer, because, as I said, I'm not a mental health professional, so I need to know how and when to refer on, and I can do that to the counsellor, the new counsellor that we have here. So we do work as a team. We all have our particular professional conceptions of confidentiality. You can imagine as a priest, I have a very particular level of confidentiality, and whenever you talk to me, we can establish at the beginning of the conversation quite what that means and entails. It is worth saying, and this is adding into what you've heard, at least what I was hearing you were hearing earlier, which is because I'm on site, I am available overnight. So my college mobile number is available on my webpage, I think. And sometimes the porters call me out, they do, if that seems appropriate and the student is happy for that to happen, or you can try me direct. My mobile is on overnight. So if you're in considerable distress and other things aren't working for you in terms of reaching out, please don't hesitate to call me. Maybe don't do what happened to me in Freshers Week a few years ago and somebody called me and said, you did say I could call, didn't you? I said, yeah, of course. I can't sleep. And I think, well, neither can I now. But actually, 10-minute chat, and it was great. So we, we sorted it out. It was great. So yeah, I live in college. I've just moved office, so some of the material may have my old office address on, but I'm in A8 New Court, which is just lovely. It just looks over the river, and already some students who've been to see me there this week just kind of visibly relax when they walk into the room and see water and beautiful buildings. So I'm like that. Now, it is on the second floor, so if there's an accessibility issue, for goodness sake, say, I need to see you, but I can't get up there, and I will arrange to come to somewhere where it's much easier for us to meet. If you want to see the full horror of my views on all subjects, you can follow me on TikTok. Horror spreads through the room. I've just got into TikTok. It's the maddest thing you've ever seen, isn't it? So there's this tiny corner of TikTok called Christian TikTok, which is either super scary fundamentalist people or cuddly progressive people like me. So I'm called the Detox Priest for reasons you can work out for yourself. Have a look. It's quite something. Goodness, I'm not an influencer like at least one other person in this college. But yeah, anyway, but actually, I'm trying to do a serious thing, apart from one or two ill-advised lip syncs. If you want to see me doing Taylor Swift, it's there. I do have things to say, but I start by listening And the last thing to say, and it might be worth saying as a kind of gather up in terms of welfare generally, we talk a great deal about all the ways in which welfare provision happens here. And that's because it's really important that you know, but we're not trying to program you to expect that things are going to be terrible. They can be tough, but you may not need any of it. So don't think that you're being told that actually this could be really, really terrible. It's in so many ways, it's completely wonderful to be here. And certainly for all of us who are involved in welfare, we do it because we absolutely love trying to be helpful and encouraging and building up of you and what you're doing. So I hope it goes really, really well. And I'll see you around. Thank you.
Can't work with this on. Dear. Oh, that's focusing. Good. Oops. Right. Okay. Hello. As my slide says, I'm Helen Murley, and I'm a rather odd thing called a domestic bursar. Which I'm going to explain to you so that you know what I do. But I'm one of the college officers, and I'd like to add my welcome to everybody else's. It's a bit of a contrast from welfare. I'm not sure we quite got the order right for this, but anyway, I'm kind of at the practical end of what happens in college, and it's probably relevant for all of you, but it's particularly relevant for those who are living in college or living in college accommodation. So this is my world, and you'll see it's full of really practical things that we need to keep the college running, and sometimes you need to know about those because you're relying on those things working, and that's where we tend to come in. But you'll see it's all about the college estate. How do we run the college estate? How do we make sure you're fed, etc., etc. And I have quite a lot to do with your SBR colleagues, because on the whole, when you want to have permissions for things, you're coming to see me or one of my team. So that tends to be events, parties, those kind of things. Although it is worth saying in passing, we also have a college dean who has the ultimate say on all things alcohol related. So there's a level above me for permissions. But we're a friendly bunch, and I think that's the first thing I want to say to you. It would be very easy to look at that and think, oh my goodness, this is going to be really boring bureaucracy. Actually, we're here to try and make your time at college as smooth and fun as possible. But I think smooth particularly. So when things aren't working, we need to try and fix it. And that's the first thing really to say. So there are some key groups for you that you need to know, some of whom you may already have encountered if you've been here for a week or two. So the first thing is the catering team. The catering team feed you. Basically, if you're eating in college, we like you to eat in college. Postgraduates don't always eat that much in college. Do come in. It's a really great way to get to know people. One of the things I've learnt, having not come from a university kind of work career, is that food is the place where everybody comes together in the college. So there's a buttery dining room. We're in a temporary facility at the moment in First Court because we're rebuilding the permanent facility at the moment, which is very exciting. But the temporary facility's got a fantastic view of the chapel. It serves canteen-type food, but there's also sandwiches, and there's going to be cake and coffee available every day. It's a space you can sit during the day. We ask you not to work there during meal times because it gets quite crowded, but otherwise you can just take your laptop, get a coffee, have a bit of cake, meet a couple of friends and have a chat. There's no requirement to be doing, serious work, but if you want to work there, the space is available. We also run formal halls, and you will get to experience a formal hall. that's a very particular Cambridge experience where people wear gowns, and you'll find that there's a procedure, there's grace at the beginning. It's more like going out to a restaurant plus. So do book in on that and come and experience it. Your SBR colleagues will be encouraging you to do so. Can I just stress, please, the allergies issue? We do try and label all our food, but we need you to look after yourselves. If you are seriously allergic to something, you'll be very experienced at doing that, but we do ask that you register with the college nurse so that we're aware of that, and we also ask that you tell catering. The reason we do that is because when there's a formal meal, you're served, and if they know that you're allergic to something, they'll make sure you're served the meal that doesn't have that ingredient in it. So it is really important that they know if you've got a serious allergy. So please make sure you tell catering as well as the college nurse. We've talked about bedders. Bedders is the Cambridge term for the person who comes and cleans your property for you. For the postgraduates, they'll clean only the communal areas. Postgraduates have requested that they don't clean their rooms. However, I would really like to reiterate what Richard said. It really helps us if you can keep your room hygienic. That isn't always the case. The bedders certainly can be helped a lot if you keep your kitchens relatively tidy. Please try and help them. They'll tell you if you don't, but their relationship with you is much better if you make an effort too. And please also empty your bins and don't leave your wheelie bins, the big bins, out on the street, because then what happens is all the residents from the street ring us up and say your students have left all the wheelie bins outside, and then we have to get on your case to get them removed. So please try and be a responsible neighbour for the residents of Cambridge as well as for the college. If you've got a problem with your accommodation in terms of the rooms not working for you or there's an issue with the house as a whole, please talk to the accommodations and bookings service. They're the people who actually allocate rooms. As importantly, they run the meeting room booking service. So you can book everything online, but if there's something you want to know about a room that isn't clear, please get in touch with them. They can help you. And those rooms are there for you to use. So if you want to have a college meeting or just to meet a couple of people to work, please do use them. They're there for postgraduates, and in particular, I think you're more likely to want to do those kind of things. If there's a fault with something in your room, the heating's not working, the lighting's not working, there's water coming through the ceiling, touch wood, we hope that won't. Maintenance are the people to get in touch with. If it's the middle of the night, please call the porters and they'll do the first aid bit and they'll get maintenance out to help you. So there is sort of standby people to help, but porters are on the whole quite handy people as well as looking after your welfare. They're quite good at mending lights and things like that. And then lastly, IT. You probably have already found some information about IT on the website, but there is an IT help desk, people by Dave and James, who you see there, and they will talk to you about making your technology work. They'll also, if it's a dire emergency, they'll also meet you face-to-face at the help desk, and they'll kind of sort out your laptop or any other device for you. I've actually got some notes that they gave me because although I look after them, I'm not an IT specialist, so I'll just read to you what they said. So your sets, if you're in college, all have a 100 megabyte connection via a wall socket into the college backbone. There's an automated network registration system, which many of you will already have used. We also provide wireless service to most of the college. The instructions for connecting are included in your welcome pack, and they're also available on the website. So if you're looking for it, that's where you should be looking. And the IT help desk is being staffed today. If you get stuck, they've got some Zoom times set up, so look on the website if you're having a problem and they'll sort you out. They've written also, I should also warn you that some devices, such as some broadband routers, simply do not work on a network such as the college's. In fact, they can actively interfere with the operation of the college network, and as such, they're not allowed. So I think in technology terms, it's worth just reiterating, this is a 500-year-old estate. We have very thick walls. Sometimes the IT doesn't work as well as you would like it to. We can provide, boosters and things to help you, but please, tell us if there's a problem, because it isn't quite as simple as, connecting in Churchill or one of the more modern colleges. They didn't design the buildings for IT, unfortunately. Moving on swiftly, Margarita's already talked to you about sustainability, which is fantastic. I didn't know she was going to be here, but we do take it very seriously here, and we are really, really trying all the time to kind of boost our performance and to play our part in mitigating climate change and addressing the issues of climate change. We have a platinum rating in the university's ranking system, which means we're right at the top. We want to stay at the top. And that means that we ask you to play your part. That is tough in our climate if you come from the southern hemisphere or from a very hot country. But if you can try to find a way to avoid putting in an extra fan heater, because that pushes our electricity consumption up, if you can wear another jumper instead. Your radiators all have adjustments, so you can turn them up and down. So make sure your radiator's on before you buy the fan heater, please. Water, if you have your shower every morning for 15 minutes, clearly you're using more water than if you have it for 5. Water is probably the thing that there's going to be more wars around in the world than anything else, and Cambridge is in quite a dry area, despite yesterday. It is actually one of the driest parts of the UK, so water shortage is a real issue here. Recycling, we have provided recycling bins in your households. Read what you can recycle, because in Cambridge you can recycle almost anything. We are really lucky to have one of the best recycling regimes in the country. And then that's a picture of the allotment sites that we have at number 1 Madingley Road. They're really run by the SBR, so talk to them about if you're keen to get involved in gardening. I saw some great courgettes and squashes coming out this year. We do have some troubles with caterpillars, but get involved and find out about and monkjack, about the wildlife of Cambridge. You've had lots about societies. I would just add my tuppence halfpenny to that. I did an MBA, and not here, but it was a 1-year MBA. It was incredibly intense, and I think I would have gone mad if I hadn't done some things other than study. So I would say to you, there's been lots of talk about sport. There is a lot of sport. There's a huge amount of music here too. So if you're musical, please get involved. There's an art society, the Lady Margaret Players are the theatre society. There's lots to do. It's for postgraduates as well as undergraduates. I think sometimes there's some reticence which says it's not for us. It is. It's for everybody in college. So please, think about how you spend your time when you're not working, and make sure you've got some time when you're not working. And finally, I'll add my tuppence halfpenny to the welfare issue. I think part of the great joy of the collegiate system of Cambridge, and as I say, I wasn't here myself, is the community. The community is not just postgraduates, it's not just undergraduates, it's the whole thing, the fellows, the staff, the students. And it works best when everybody shows respect and treats one another as a potential friend. And I think most of us are potential friends. And the last thing is something that I think is a very well-stated comment for postgraduates in particular. You're now at the stage where you're starting to shape things, and the opportunity in Cambridge to shape world-beating things and things across the world is probably unrivaled, so don't miss it. Thank you very much.
I'm the head porter. I manage a team of 28 porters. You've probably worked out by now that the porters don't carry luggage. That always gets a laugh. And that's because the word porter derives from the Latin portarius, which means gatekeeper. So you translate that into sort of modern day parlance, and that's safety and security. So that's the main business area of the porters: safety of everybody that uses the site and the college hostels, and the security of the college estate. The porters also manage fire safety, keys, cycles, car parking, CCTV, and a whole range of other things. They do have a huge knowledge about life in college, life in Cambridge, life at the university. They're a great resource, so do ask them a question, do tap into that resource. The porters are also involved in the management of COVID, so they do support the health centre and the college help desk in how we manage COVID in the college. So some of the interactions in relation to COVID are going to be via the porters. They do have a level of expertise in that, which we've all developed over the last 18 months. So we do know what we're doing. The college site, it's a big site. There's a number of entrances and exits. All the gates at the back of college are an access control, so your college card will let you in. Trinity Peace Gate, the Queen's Road automatic gate, and the Merton Hall gate that leads from the back of Pythag into Northampton Street and Madingley Road. What I would say, particularly for those people that do live in hostels, is that Cambridge, is a really safe place. But nowhere is particularly crime-free. So if you do see something suspicious, then either, contact the porters if it's pretty low level. But if it's high risk, then you can phone the police. We do need to look after each other. And certainly the porters would rather have 4 phone calls about an incident than none at all, because if you think somebody else is going to report it, they won't report it. So you do have to take a bit of personal responsibility about the property, making sure that the windows and doors are locked when you leave. You can challenge people that you don't know. If you don't feel able to challenge them, then contact the porters and we'll intervene. We are a community and we do need to look after each other. Cambridge also is a cycling city, cycling capital of the UK. Also, no surprises, cycle crime capital of the UK. So there are some simple steps that you can take to prevent yourself being a victim of cycle theft. Use a good D-lock, lock the bike to something that's immovable, whether that be in college, in one of the hostels, or in one of the faculties. It's also a good idea to register your bike. There is a national bike register, bikeregister.com, where you can record details of your cycle. There's also a national property register, immobilise.com, that the police have access to. And again, you can use that. It's a free service if you want to record the details of your valuable items on there, just in case. As the next best thing to not being a victim of crime is actually to share with the police some details of the property, and it increases the chances of recovery. It's a quaint statute within the university that still exists, but that all students that study at Cambridge have to register their cycles with their college. There's quite a few of you who over the weekend have. I will give you, a couple of days to do that. Unregistered bikes will be removed. Registering your bike is really easy. There are QR codes in all of the lodges. You just need to scan the QR code, either go into Cripps or Forecourt and get your cycle sticker and pop that on your bike. Cycle safety, again, Cambridge is a really weird place for those people that are new to cycling. It's a bit like a contact sport sometimes. The volume of people, the volume of cycles, throw in some traffic, you do need to take it steady, particularly if you leave college via Northampton Street. It can be really, really busy there. There is a very poorly signed one-way system in Cambridge for cyclists. I will put a map up in the Great Gate Lodge in the post room just to indicate that, but there is a one-way circuit, And the correct direction of travel outside the college, outside the main gate, is towards the city centre, so that's towards Trinity. And it just continues round in a loop past Sainsbury's, but that is one way. Obviously, because other people ignore it, doesn't mean to say that you do. And I say it is quite a risky activity. It's obviously going to be dark fairly soon in terms of, it's dark at 7 o'clock, it will soon be dark at, 5 o'clock. The police do, for all freshers' intakes, have a period of enforcement in terms of cycle lights. So obviously if you're riding a bike during the hours of darkness, you do need to have some lights on your bike. Buying a set of lights is obviously a lot cheaper than getting a £30 fine for having no lights. So I would urge you to do that. Again, that's obviously entirely up to you, but there is an element of road safety to that as well as financial penalty. The lodges, we've got 3 lodges. Crypts open 24/7 on the west of the site. Use that for entry into college. Any keys you want to the Fisher Building are accessible from there. Punts, if you want to take a punt out. The squash court. Access to the health centre. Access to the fitness centre and the weights room. Once you're inducted, you get the cards from there. The forecourt lodge is the operational centre of the college. Again, open 24/7. If you find yourself locked out, you can get your lockout keys from there. And obviously, in relation to being locked out, I've said be careful in relation to security. If you do lock yourself out, obviously, we'll more than happily give you a lockout key. But unfortunately, we can't come to you. So, you're going to have to come to us in whatever state of dress or undress you happen to be in. The Great Gate Lodge, obviously the historic entrance to the college, that's open from 7:30 until 10, Monday to Friday, and from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. At the weekends. Your pigeonhole room is next to the lodge. We do have a parcel notification system, so if you're getting a parcel, we'll send you an email. There are some very shop-happy people there amongst you, and we are totally rammed with parcels at the minute. So I would urge you, if you do get an email, can you please collect it as soon as you can, your parcel? If your parcel is big enough to fit in your pigeonhole, we'll pop it in your pigeonhole. So that's really the first place that you need to look sometimes. If you get an email from Amazon to say that you've not got a parcel, you've got no email from us, then look in your pigeonhole, because it could well be that we've put it in there. The college is closed to the public at the moment, partly because of COVID management issues, partly because construction work on site has severely limited pedestrian access. So that's our position, and we do manage access. The custodians, who are part of the Porters team, do manage access through the Great Gate. Now there's a couple of familiar faces here, but most are unfamiliar. So the custodians will probably just ask you who you are, and if you say you're a student at St John's College, fine. They will get to know your faces. They're not being awkward. They're not being difficult. They're just trying to, limit access and follow the policy that the college has set. You are allowed also under the visitor policy. You're allowed 3. Somebody may have mentioned that to you, but you're allowed 3 guests. You can bring in they don't have to be from other colleges. Fire safety. You've all been to institutions before, done first degrees. Fire safety, is something that this college takes really seriously. Fire is a devastating event. There are simple steps that you can take to prevent fire in hostels and in other college accommodation. The first one is there's no cooking in rooms, no cooking in residential rooms. So no rice cookers, no deep fat fryers, no microwaves, none of that. The use of candles and incense sticks is also prohibited. If we find a candle or an incense stick is found, then we'll remove it. We'd ask you to be mindful of others when cooking. You know, so if you make a mess on the grill, then clean it up. If you cook food, stay with your food while you cook it. The biggest single cause, no surprises, of fire alarm activations, which are really disruptive to people. You know, you could be in the middle of an important piece of work and you have to evacuate, is cooking. So, you know, being mindful around how you undertake that activity is really important. There are fire detection equipment deployed in college rooms, college hostels, smoke and heat detectors, fire call points, which is the means by which you signal that you've either discovered a fire or potentially have even caused one. There are fire extinguishers in all hostels. We don't expect you to deploy them, but what I do expect is you don't use them to prop open fire doors. And again, blocking fire exits is something that it shouldn't be done. You know, the housekeeping team report back to us, so if there are any infractions, we will have to deal with those individuals concerned. So fire safety is, you know, really simple. Housekeeping, just being considerate in relation to others. Within the hostels, within Caulfield, there is a fire testing regime, but you will become familiar with that. The details of that are in the hostels. And the last thing really is about fire alarms. Caulfield Court is slightly different. That is connected to the college network. All the other hostels, they're not connected to the college network. So if the fire alarm goes off, you need to take a bit of personal responsibility and try and understand and problem solve why. If it's gone off and there is a fire, then your first action is obviously to evacuate. Take anybody with you that you can, close any doors, don't go back until the all clear is given, and then phone the fire service, because it's not connected to the Porter's Lodge. So if there is a real fire, you need to contact the fire service, just phone 999, tell them what's happened, everybody out, and then telephone the porters and let them know what's happened, and they can come and investigate. If it is a fire alarm and actually, you know, you've burnt your baked potato or whatever, then, and it isn't a real fire, then please contact the porters and just alert them to the fact that A, there's a fire alarm, which they will still have to investigate and silence, but it isn't a real live event. If you're resident in Caulfield Court, the fire alarm, once the fire alarm activates, it does register with the porters and they will come and investigate and give you the all clear. So fire safety, you know, if there is a fire, you just need to get out and you just need to stay out and, you know, we'll manage it. The last thing really is that, you know, we've talked about the welfare and support and the other pastoral elements of support that the college has. The porters are here 24/7. You know, they will do their best always to help, and if they can't, they will always refer it to somebody that can. So I just want to say that, you know, I wish you all the best. I hope you enjoy your time here, and that it's productive academically as well. If you do need to contact the porters for something that's not urgent, email is fine. If it's more pressing, the easiest way to get a response is to telephone us. There is a porter's web page on the intranet that's got all our contact details in. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much for your attention, and thank you especially to the SVR and the officer from the Cambridge Student Union, very kind of you to become very helpful. I hope you found this session helpful. As the senior tutor said, we will circulate all the information so you can have it at hand. But there's lunch now, no more speeches, and we're very lucky it's sunny, so we can have lunch outside. It's in the cloisters, yes, blank. In the cloisters, and if you don't know where that is, I'm sure the SBR will take you. So thank you once again, and have a wonderful. Oh, yes,